Michelle Lee Weldon is a Denver-based registered yoga teacher and licensed professional counselor who blends yoga psychotherapy, neurosculpting, coaching, and complementary medicine to help others live their most vibrant life. In addition to her private practice, she also teaches classes and workshops at Denver's Samadhi Center for Yoga. Please welcome to the show, Michelle Lee Weldon. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
So tell me a little bit about why yoga, why neurosculpting, how that all came to be.
In college, I started out as a biomedical science major, and I was really interested in how medicine interacted with the mind and the body. But I went through this really difficult time when I was about 20 years old, and I hit rock bottom, and my grandmother taught me meditation, and specifically transcendental meditation. And it changed my brain biochemistry so much that I got fascinated. And so I switched my major to psychology and neuroscience, and since then I've been studying the integration of neuroscience and psychology and meditation. And slowly through that evolution came yoga and then neurosculpting.
Wow. Okay, so talk to us, for those who don't know what neurosculpting is, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so neurosculpting was is a 5-step process that was developed by Lisa Wimberger, and the Neurosculpting Institute is actually based right here in Denver. And it differs from other meditation techniques because it's neuroscience based, and it's specifically designed to help increase the potential of neuroplasticity. So meaning the ability for us to really create new neural pathways, new patterns and habits.
Mm. And so is this a practice that you do on a regular basis yourself, as well as coaching
Absolutely,
clients?
yeah. Neurosculpting has been one of the practices that has really helped me exponentiate my life and helped me move past things that I didn't think I'd be able to move past.
So old patterns and
Yeah,
traumas
old
and issues,
patterns
this is
and
something
traumas.
that you could use?
I actually used to have the worst fear of public speaking so bad.
Did you really?
Yeah, so bad that I actually switched my major in college so that I wouldn't have to take public speaking class. And now I actually do public speaking for a living.
I think many students here have thought about how can I change my major so I can get out of that one public speaking class.
I switched from, I think, a BA to a BS.
Okay.
So that I could take poetry instead of public speaking.
Yeah, I can relate to that a little bit. But, you know, knowing you a little bit in the community, the yoga community, and seeing how well you are and how gifted you are with speaking in front of, you have very large classes at Samadhi some days. So you've gotten past that, or is it something that you've just learned how to integrate into what it is you do?
I think probably a little bit of both. Teaching yoga helped me get past it a little bit. But when you teach yoga, you can put people in downward facing dog. You can tell people to close their eyes. So it's a little bit, they're not looking at you. And so I thought I'd gotten past teaching yoga. But then when I did my first workshop, where people were actually just sitting there staring at me, I froze up and I was like, oh, I'm not actually past this. And so I really worked with neurosculpting and learning how to take the anxiety that would start to build in my body and actually calm, like actually shift the response of my nervous system, calm it down, and then rechannel my focus.
So it's a very practical thing that people
super
can
practical.
use. Yeah, it's not an out there process.
No, it's super practical. It's super easy to integrate into your daily life.
Is that something that you teach at Samadhi or something you do privately mostly, the neurosculpting?
The neurosculpting, I integrate a little bit of that into some of the workshops, and I think you've been to a couple of my workshops, but mostly I do it in private practice, and then occasionally I do large speaking engagements in different places.
Great. Have you ever meditated?
I have not meditated.
There's a shock. I'm going to have Michelle work with you after.
Okay, I've always wanted.
You look very calm.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, this is your element, so you're comfortable
Right,
in
exactly.
this.
Being near Deanna is hard to stay calm. I'm always meditating when I'm around you, Deanna.
I've gotten him to drink kombucha these past few
What?
weeks, and so
She
we're
also
going to have
gave
him
me
meditating
some
by the
green
end of this.
slugs.
Some green juice and some other healthy
She
things.
made me eat some slugs.
So next step is my gentle yoga class. Then, is
Exactly.
what you're
I think
saying.
that would be the perfect thing. I have to bring you to Michelle's
right.
class. I want to talk about, you have a workshop coming up that
do.
I'm very excited about. You can't come to this one because this one's strictly for the ladies. So tell us
this
a little
one
bit
is.
about this
All right.
workshop that you've got at Samadhi.
So the workshop is called the Yoga of Sensuality. And so yoga, as most of us know it, is kind of like right leg, right foot, left foot. It's pretty linear, and the physical part of yoga in America is pretty masculine in form. And I don't mean male, I just mean masculine in terms of it's linear and concrete and direct. And there's a whole another aspect to engaging our nervous system, which is kind of denoising all of the background noise from our daily life. And in order to do that, we turn up our sensory experience and relax parts of our nervous system that get in the way of us experiencing more sensory experiences, like the softness of the breeze over your skin. And the whole purpose of that is so that we can actually learn how to down-regulate our nervous system and then increase our attention where we want to place it, whether it's for work or whether it's with our connections with our friends or lovers.
Do you find that most of your clients and students are living in a pattern of fight and flight, like they're always ready for the tigers at the door kind of thing? Is that something that's consistent? Or?
Well, I think almost everybody is.
Yeah.
Whether it's being in rush hour traffic and having somebody cut you off, whether it's waiting for that like one pivotal email or that one pivotal phone call, we have this sense of like hypervigilance of being on edge to some degree, and then just all the like sounds and loudness and bright lights that are happening in the world. I think that there's a degree of just always being on and on guard.
Yeah.
And if you run across someone like me who's never done yoga before, how would you introduce what you do to them, or your pitch kind of to them?
How would I introduce
Or
yoga, or how would I introduce?
To someone who doesn't know what you do, what do you do? What's kind of the...
Okay, so I would say that I blend yoga and neuroscience and psychotherapy to help people repattern their minds and bodies. And we would start with really simple things like just increasing the receptors, the ability of you to notice what's happening in your body. So like noticing the feeling of the couch or the chair beneath you, and noticing the way your breath moves in through your body and the expansion of your lungs. And when we start to learn more about that, we can be really attuned to our own internal wisdom. That part of us that says, oh, this is really good for me, or oh, that's not so good for me.
Well, and you raise a good point. So this is a practice that anyone can start at any time. You don't need to be super flexible, right? You don't have to come equipped. You already are.
You already are. I love, one of the things that people say to me is, I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible. And I tell them that's like saying, I can't come to dinner because I'm hungry.
Yeah. Yeah, or I can't take a shower because I already took one yesterday, something like that.
Yeah.
So in terms of what's on the horizon for you, you've got this workshop. Are there any other things you've got planned for the summer? Are you someone who likes to travel? Do you like to stay put? Or are you going to mix a little bit of both?
I love to travel.
Yeah.
And I think travel is one of the great things that brings us into a sense of novelty. It helps us remember that there are more things than just the little problems inside of our head. And for me, especially when novelty, that feeling of newness is around, and this is actually true for everybody, that when you have an increased sense of novelty, you actually learn better.
Really?
Yeah, so for example, when you think about being in a new relationship.
True. Yeah.
All of your like sensory experience is heightened, and so you pay extra attention to everything that's happening. So travel is kind of like that too.
Okay. So, and if you're in a long-term relationship, then it's even more important then to increase opportunities for novelty.
Yeah, and not just depending on the other person for novelty, but actually doing things like the Yoga of Sensuality workshop that stimulate your own sense of novelty, so you can bring that freshness and newness to the relationship.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
We got to go do yoga together.
We definitely
Our
do.
relationship is getting stale.
It's getting kind of dull.
We might need to be on opposite sides of the room because I feel like the giggles would be an issue.
Yeah, probably. But like looking at each other the whole time laughing.
No, I mean, I think, yoga is something that's had a tremendous impact in my life. And so that's why I wanted to have you on because I'm a great fan of your work. And so check out Michelle's classes at Samadhi. You teach Tuesday and Thursday, I know for sure, at 10:30 to 11:30, gentle yoga. And what other days are you teaching?
Those are the only regular classes I hold. Yeah.
Okay. So check her out. Thank you so much. We'll be right back.